So I'm going to talk a little bit today about my new favorite playing out guitar, and it is a Seagull Entourage rustic. It's got a cutaway, it's got electronics, so nothing too different that way. I bought it used, got it from Guitar Center, but I've been making a couple little tiny changes. Now, so I said this is my new favorite playing out guitar, so it's getting a lot of use, and it was time to change the strings, basically, is the simple way to say it. So I said, Self, you're playing this guitar out, you should probably put a little more money into your strings. Why don't you use this as an excuse to try the Stringjoy strings? And just to give you the example, Stringjoy box, I'll show it a little bit closer. They're about twice as expensive as the Ernie Balls I normally play. I had a little bit of an expectation of being them particularly good strings, made in America type thing, lots of good reviews, lots of people reviewing them on YouTube. So I put the strings on and they feel wrong. And this is kind of a strange thing to say, but when I put the strings on, they just didn't feel right. They're 1152s, they're the same size strings as I'm using from Ernie Ball, or I use some Martin ones as well. But they just didn't feel right. And this was very interesting because that's not what I expected. Now, from sound quality point of view, they sound fantastic. There's nothing sonically bad about them, but the feel is wrong. Now, when I was putting the strings on, I noticed they're very springy, if you want to kind of say. You know how the strings come all rolled up? You open them up and boy, those things just really want to uncoil. So there's a lot of energy in the strings. And so I had to futz around for a little bit to figure out what was going on. The second thing I did to changing the strings is I also changed my bridge pins on this guitar. The bridge pins that came with it were the cheap plastic ones that pretty much every acoustic guitar comes with. Again, I decided to splurge. This is my playing out guitar. I want to look fancy, and so I ordered some little inlaid wooden bridge pins. And I have to say, I love these little wooden bridge pins. I just got them from Amazon. They're about $10. They're kind of cute, but they work really well. I also changed my technique for how I load my strings, but that might be a topic for another day. Really all I do is, when I'm putting the strings in, I actually load all the bridge strings at once. Basically, I can stick my hand in the sound hole, I can feel where the little ball is, and make sure it's in the right spot when I lock the pins in. So nothing too special that way. But the whole idea is these three things are all kind of related. The swapping of the strings, the new bridge pins, the way I'm mounting it, kind of all comes together. So let's come back to the strings and why they felt weird. And it took me a little bit of a while, but I was looking at the strings and I kind of said, boy, that E string, the low E string, it's fat. And I looked at it and I measured it. Now it's a 52 gauge string, and just couldn't figure it out, but it feels very strange. And what it comes down to is when you read the box, and I'll post a highlight up, it lists the string diameters as 11, 15, 22, 30, 40, and 52. I was like, wait a minute, that's the difference. It's the A string, it's a 40. Normally on, say, my Ernie Balls that I'm used to and all the other ones, it's a 42. Now, if somebody had said to me that I could feel the difference between a 40 gauge and a 42 string, I would have never have believed that. I just wouldn't have bought into it. I don't know if gauge is the right word there. I think these are actually the diameter in inches for these strings, but between 0.040 and 0.042 is 2/1000ths of an inch. I just wouldn't have thought that I could feel that difference. But that's what I've kind of decided has happened. The 52 is the correct low string. 11 is the correct high string. But what I'm used to is the 2/1000ths thicker string. And so it really stood out to me, and I could really tell the difference that, boy, there was something really different on that particular string. And again, I find nothing different about the way the guitar plays. I think the strings sound absolutely wonderful. The tonality is exactly what I like. But it really was a shock when I put the strings on, expected to have this great experience with the strings, and went, wait, this just feels crazy. and it just turns out it's a small difference in the thickness. So I don't recall anybody talking about this on any of their videos. I mean, a lot of the other videos, they're sponsored videos, they're going to say some nice things about it. So this sort of shift in my mindset anyway was kind of needed. Now, am I going to stick with these strings? Well, I'm going to play it out a few times and see what happens. I've now been playing it for a day or so, and I'd have to say I don't mind that difference, and I do like how nice and rich the top string sounds. So there's no bad part in it that way. But if you're going to try the Stringjoy strings, especially, these are the natural phosphor bronze. They're called balanced super lights. There is a difference between that A string and the E string that is pronounced. Now, maybe everybody else has noticed this. Maybe this is a very common topic. That's why nobody talks about it. But I didn't expect it. I was, kind of surprised by this little change. So for me, this was kind of one of those learning experiences in moving to the strings. Now, remember, the Stringjoys, they're about twice the price of the Ernie Balls. And they sound fabulous to my ears, so I'm not giving you a complaint, just saying what I think the difference is. But I do think I've come up with a very nice set of changes to this guitar. Now, the guitar plays beautifully. I find nothing to complain about on it. It just does everything I want. But the fancier bridge pins and the way they actually respond as you're installing the new strings, they don't pop out like the plastic ones. They give me a much more solid feel, and I think they make better contact all the way around in the wood. So I do think I get a little bit better resonant quality out of the guitar. In other words, it sounds just a touch louder. Now, none of this can be sent across on the cameras for you guys to hear, but it's definitely something you might want to consider if you're not liking the plastic pins and you want to try a little upgrade in the pins and see if that helps you out. These are slotted bridge pins, so they're nothing really different. All I really do is I make sure that I've got a much better connection than I might normally have when I was installing the strings, and these do seem to seat a little more solidly, so I'm pretty happy with that. Anyway, that's my rambling on my Seagull. I'm very happy with this guitar. It's an incredibly inexpensive guitar, but incredibly well built, sounds really good, plays just magnificently. I love the electronics in it. I think I said last time it's got a built-in tuner, so you can get up and running really quick, and if you're popping up and down off the stage, this is a great way to be able to set up and make sure everything's running really good. It automatically cuts out, so it's not coming over the amplifiers. Just a lot of really nice little features. Many guitars have it, of course, but on a very inexpensive guitar, I'm getting what I think is a great experience, and I think it's coming very, very well across to the audience.